But there's another knowledge problem at work here, which is, can you design the overarching institutions of society itself? So this isn't my statement of the desired ends. It's the statement of U.S. policymakers, which is to spread democracy, to spread liberty, to spread freedom, and so on. And so then you have to ask yourself, well, do people know what it takes to actually design sustainable institutions that would generate these things? And then design resource allocations within those things, of course, which is the Austrian focus typically. And so in the realm of what falls under the purview of nation building, the knowledge problem is there's multiple levels to it, and it's really complex, and it turns out people don't know how to do these things. And so in some sense, this is a fool's errand to start, at least based on the stated ends of policymakers. And I think you see that play out in practice.
Yeah, I always think about Hayek's notion of fatal conceit and, his later work on sort of the evolution of institutions and to take the American system, which is based on centuries, maybe even millennia of social evolution and rules and our understanding of how we interact with each other, and then to sort of airdrop it into Afghanistan and think magically that, we had an election, everything's fine now. And that was, I guess, 22 years ago now.
Yep.
And arguably things are worse today than they were before we got involved.
Yep. And so you're exactly right. And so anytime you try to impose any kind of overarching order, you're going to have to necessarily simplify down to a few kind of overarching bullet points. It should look like this. And as you pointed out, usually there's metrics like an election is held.
Yeah.
But an election is, first of all, even holding an election logistically is quite hard in these places at the national level.
Yeah.
And it literally ignores centuries of history, that you can somehow jam national level institutions on top of these real existing organizational structures. Something like Afghanistan's never had a national government in the way we would think about it in America. Even if we could agree in America how it should look, which of course there's debate there.
Right.
There's a lot of dysfunction, even domestically. And so, that leads you into a kind of a tough situation if you're a policymaker, which is that you either give up the game, so you say we can't do this and you leave, or you jam it. You jam it on top of an existing structure, but there's going to be a disconnect between that structure and the underlying realities, in which case you either have to force it at gunpoint, which then it's no longer liberalism. Right. Because you are imposing freedom at the point of a gun, or you have to be willing to slaughter people.
Yeah.
And so it's fundamentally an illiberal exercise in the name of liberalism. And this is one of the...
Sorry, we have guests on the show.
Oh, no, wonderful. This is one of the issues I have with many classical liberals and conservatives who endorse these type of projects, is they are fundamentally illiberal, and they're undertaking the name of liberalism. And I think they do a great disservice to the liberal project because they hijack that language of liberalism, but they're actually doing the exact opposite.